From Bill Cosby to Larry the Cable Guy, comedians seem to love getting canceled, be it offensive jokes or accusations of harassment. Many comedians have faced this fate. But guess what? Joe Rogan has opened up an anti-cancel culture comedy club. And here, nothing is off limits. Sounds crazy, right? But that's just how Joe Rogan rolls. He's been around for a long time. You might remember him from Fear Factor or from his wildly popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. Now you might be thinking, why did he open his own club? Can't he just perform at other places? But here's the thing. Rogan has been really critical of cancel culture and the way it's impacting comedy.
Yeah, this is the problem when you let kids think that they're okay.
I guess so, because I thought it was due to the mold and dust.
He thinks that comedians should be able to perform without fear of getting canceled for telling jokes that might be considered controversial or offensive. And that's where the Comedy Mothership comes in. It's a safe place where comedians can perform without worrying about being censored or criticized. The first show at the Comedy Mothership was called Joe Rogan and Friends, and it had a pretty awesome lineup of comedians too, including Roseanne Barr, who's a super controversial figure in comedy. The show was a big hit, and people loved that the comedians were able to perform without worrying about getting in trouble for their material. Rogan himself is really excited about the Comedy Mothership. He said he's always dreamed of having his own comedy club, and he's hoping to make it a major hub for live comedy in Texas. Plus, also to book all kinds of comedians, from established pros to up-and-coming newbies, keeping the comedy scene alive. And you know the jokes will pack a punch. Now, let's talk about some of the comedians who performed at the first Joe Rogan and Friends. The David Lucas was first in the lineup, and it's no wonder he made the cut. David Lucas is a hilarious stand-up comedian from Los Angeles, California. He's known for his brash, unapologetic style of comedy, and he's not afraid to go super hard with his jokes, in a way that not everyone always likes, you know, and make offensive jokes.
If all your financial needs are met, because that's what y'all be stressing over, these bills is killing me.
Fans of David Lucas like that he's willing to take risks in his efforts to make them laugh. But as much as his fans love him, David Lucas is also a controversial figure in the world of comedy. Some people have accused him of being offensive and insensitive, and they argue that his jokes can be hurtful to certain groups of people.
All these fucking jiggly orange bitches out of pocket, man. That shit don't make no sense.
There have been instances where his comedy has seriously pissed people off, like that whole bit about interracial dating. Come on now. He tends to make scandalous jokes about race, gender, and other such sensitive topics. Despite the controversy surrounding him though, David Lucas has a loyal fan base and continues to perform at clubs and festivals around the country. His style of comedy might not be for everyone, but for those who appreciate his unique approach to stand-up, he's a must-see act, and so he was a perfect fit for this anti-woke comedy club, and apparently he brought the house down. Now let's move on to another iconic name in comedy that performed at the show, the Ron White. Ron White is an American stand-up comedian with a unique style of comedy that involves sarcastic observations, storytelling, and a love for Scotch whiskey. Fans adore him for his quick wit and ability to find humor in everyday situations.
I was going to go to Vegas a day early to do some media, and I wanted to see the show called Love. It's also at the Mirage, Beatles, Cirque du Soleil show, fantastic.
But not everyone is a fan of his comedy, as he has faced a bunch of controversy over the years. One of the reasons Ron White is controversial is his use of profanity. He is not shy about dropping F-bombs and other curse words during his shows, which can be off-putting for some audiences.
And I wasn't paying my taxes, so it even felt like I was making more money than I was.
And not just that, White often references drug and alcohol use in his jokes, which has also got him a bit of criticism from audiences. Critics have accused him of promoting unhealthy behaviors, while others argue that it's just part of his shtick. Despite the controversy though, White remains a popular comedian with a solid group of fans. His storytelling ability, unique sense of humor, and unapologetic attitude continue to earn him fans around the world. And since punchy, mildly offensive jokes are his forte, of course he had to make an appearance at the Comedy Mothership. You really need a strong stomach to attend a show here, folks. Speaking of which, we have to talk about the queen of controversy, the one and only Roseanne Barr. Is there anyone in the world who hasn't heard of her? Barr is a legendary comedian, actress, and writer from the US who's known for her brash and confrontational style of comedy. Her fans love her for her ability to tackle taboo topics like sex, politics, and religion head-on.
There you are. are. Don't worry, I'm gonna get them all tonight.
While others shy away from these themes, and she does it hilariously. But Roseanne has also faced her fair share of controversy over the years. In 1990, she sang the national anthem at a baseball game. And let's just say it didn't go over so well. She's also gotten in trouble for some comments she made on social media that were seen as racist and anti-Semitic. For example, in 2018, Roseanne tweeted some pretty offensive things about former Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett. It led to the cancellation of her hit TV show, Roseanne, and a ton of criticism from all sides. All controversy aside, Roseanne's fans are all still ride or die for her irreverent humor, but there's no denying that her history of making controversial statements and doing questionable things continues to make her a divisive figure in the world of comedy, which is why it made perfect sense for her to make an appearance in Austin. Now let's talk about the bold, unapologetic Tim Dillon. With his edgy and controversial style of comedy, along with his social and political commentary, Dillon might be one of the most daring comedians in the game. His humor is not for the faint-hearted, though. Fans of Dillon love his fearless humor and willingness to speak his mind, even on topics that make people uncomfortable. But Dillon's comedy has also stirred up some controversy. Some people have accused him of promoting offensive and harmful ideas, particularly with his jokes about marginalized communities.
You gotta see yourself as the world sees you, and that's the job you do.
His jokes about disability and the LGBTQ+ community got him into serious trouble with the fans. Others have also criticized him for spreading conspiracy theories and misinformation. Dillon's fan base, though, is as loyal as ever to the comedian, and he remains a popular figure in the world of comedy and podcasting. People love him for his ability to make them laugh and think, even if they don't always agree with everything he says. And I hear that his set at the Comedy Mothership did exactly that. Finally, the last comedian that performed at Joe Rogan and Friends is Tony Hinchcliffe. If you like mildly offensive comedy, he's your guy. He's made a name for himself through appearances on popular podcasts like The Joe Rogan Experience, of course, and his own show, Kill Tony. Hinchcliffe's comedy often involves controversial jokes about race, gender, and sexuality. Some fans love his no-holds-barred approach, while others find it offensive and insensitive. In May 2021, Hinchcliffe found himself in hot water after making racist comments towards an Asian comedian during a performance.
Oh, we making a gunpowder. Oh, you want extra soy sauce. Oh, you borrow money from us. And you...
The incident sparked outrage, and many comedians distanced themselves from Hinchcliffe. Despite the backlash, Hinchcliffe has defended his style of comedy, saying that it's meant to be provocative and push boundaries, and he was perfectly at home with Rogan and the others in Austin. Well, there you have it. This is everything I know about Rogan's anti-woke comedy club and everyone who performed.